We are standing in front of the International Diplomacy and Foreign Relations Office.
So welcome to the Global Politics Instructional video.
In these videos, we are exploring some of the key concepts of the globalization and interdependence. Okay, in these videos, we are going to explore some of the key concepts of the international relations and globalization and interdependence.
So today we are looking at interdependence. Interdependence is an important concept for us in a number of different ways. First of all, it's a key component of political liberalism, one of main theories of international relations. Second, the whole idea of interdependence is wrapped up with this notion of globalizing world. So, the whole idea of globalization is a big part of these discussions. Another reason why interdependence is so significant is that liberals tend to argue that a more interdependent world will be a more peaceful world in a more prosperous world. I think we don't like that. So, what do we have to look at this idea?
Okay, interdependence. Now, there are a lot of definitions of interdependence, and you can look up and use anyone you like. Well, we are going to define interdependence as the mutual connectedness of interdependency of states and non-state actors. And this is revealing in a numbers of different ways, and it is a very big part. The whole concept of interdependence is a very big part of the liberal schools of international relations. And what I'm going to describe to you today is a very much how liberal theorists see the world. So, let's draw a system. So, here is our international system. I'm going to populate it first with the numbers of states of varying size and powers. And the first notable things about interdependence and the liberal theories of the interdependence is the idea that, first of all states are not the only actors. And that's significant because of the idea is that there is a number of different types of factors that are important in global politics, not just the states. So, for example, they argue that multinational corporations are very important and need to be represented in our whole views of the international system. I'll just going to draw a number of multinational corporations for us here. I will represent multinational corporation with a square box. Another actors of importance are non-governmental organizations or NGOs, and these are not for-profit professional associations and so on, but also have very important roles in global politics. Amnesty International, for example, of Greenpeace come to mind. And I'll represent those NGOs with a triangle. And so we have NGOs as actors in the international system. And then lastly, there are a whole series of international institutions in global politics. The European Union, the United Nations, and the International Coffee Association, and whole variety idea of them, and I'll represent those with a star. So, here's some of our institutions of various kinds. And so you have a system populates with more than just states. You have a states and non-state actors being important in the system. And the whole idea then is that all of these actors are interconnected in some way. They are connected through a variety of channels such as trades, financial flows, travels, and communications. And taken all together, all these means of way in which actors are interconnected in the international system. The trade, the finance, travel, and communication means that the international system is characterized by a web of interconnected relationships. All of these actors are connected to each other in this complex, ever-shifting, ever-growing international network of states and non-state actors with trade flows, financial flows, people traveling by plane and boats and automobiles, and of course modern communication technologies. All of them linking all of these actors and all these states together. And the result of causes of states' borders is increasingly permeable to all of these methods of interconnections, and we have more non-state actors engaged in this kind of an international system. It doesn't mean, of course, that all of these links are exactly the same. Many liberals make the argument that these relationships are not increasingly all symmetrical, that is to say, they are not all equal. Some countries, some state actors may be more dependent than others on this link in this connection. Others country, others international actors may be more vulnerable to the breaking of this network, or risk or threat to those networks than others. But the bottom line is that this interconnection has been steadily growing, and the whole idea of interdependence is that it is a force for positive change in the international system. The development of all these non-state actors and the way that they are connected with each other and with states means that states and all other actors in the international system are benefiting from closer ties. This is promoting more and more international cooperation in this world. As a result, will be more peaceful world and more prosperous world.
Okay, that's interdependence. Now it sounds good, doesn't it? But not everyone agrees. Greenish, for example, makes the argument that it's not an independent world at all. It's a world of sovereign state living in an international anarchy, and therefore they are all distrustful of one another, and cooperation is very difficult.
Marxist and dependency theories make the argument that liberals have got it wrong. Independence is not about mutual cooperation, but independence is actually about dominance and exploitation, that liberals are mistaking the way of the world runs for some sort of mutual cooperative environment, when in fact really characterized by control and the dominance of a few powerful states and elites.
But however, we feel about interdependence, there's very little doubt that is a critical important concept for us. And the whole idea that we in globalizing world is in large part built on the idea of interdependence.
Okay, we hope you enjoy the video. See you again next time. Globalization and interdependence.
Agrees. Right.
Okay. Ini masih lagi dalam gambar.
Okay.